Wellness is everywhere, from the expensive apps to the Lululemon leggings and subscriptions for supplements. But when did self-care become all about money? And is wellness even attainable anymore? The global wellness industry was valued at $6.3 trillion in 2023, and the GWI predicts that the wellness industry will grow to $8.3 trillion in 2027. The concept of wellness has ancient roots. It's really just been around as long as humanity has, to be honest, in various and different ways. And you can see this dating back to Ayurveda in the 3000 to 1500 BC. But you can also, of course, see this with things like yoga and traditional practices of medicine, for example, like Chinese traditional medicine. So how did wellness as we now know it begin? So that really began, the commodification that is, really in the early 2000s. The concept of wellness was popularised in the 1950s by Dr. Halbert L. Dunn, and he kind of defined this as an active pursuit for higher functioning. The wellness movement gained momentum in the 80s, 90s, and then by the early 2000s was a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I think this explosion in the early 2000s was really coming out of a lot of kind of burnout culture, the kind of beginnings of hustle culture, and kind of people being frustrated with modern and conventional medicine and wanting to seek quick fixes and trying to look at these alternative medicines or ways to improve themselves. Let's have a look now at self-care as status. So wellness is something that has become something really for the elite in a way. I mean, it's always been associated with health, and it's always been associated with kind of, just upkeeping our bodies, our minds, but it has changed in the way that we now know it. In fact, wellness does seem like something that is kind of separate from health, even though the two are really quite intertwined. We may feel that our bodies are healthy, but we might not feel like we have wellness. And I think that's because there has been a big separation between the two, because wellness is now seen as something that is aspirational, something that we strive towards, and it's not something that we may intrinsically have in that same way as health. Everyone does something each day to improve our bodies and to somewhat be healthy, by waking up in the morning and going and brushing our teeth, by eating a substantial breakfast, by walking, by doing anything like this. This is helping our health. But in a way, wellness, is separate to that. We see it as something that is, expensive Pilates. It's, the expensive trainers that we feel like we need to have. It's the spa retreats. Because, as I mentioned, all these boutique classes and new trainers that you must have, and because of these spa retreats, meditation retreats, all these things like this, and the expensive teas and smoothies and health products that you must have, wellness is now becoming something that is purely for the elite, simply because they're really the only ones who can actually afford all of this. In the current economic climate, where there is a cost of living crisis and many people can only afford the absolute basics of food and necessities, then obviously these kind of shows of wellness is something that is completely out of the question for most people. And what's something that's really quite ironic and obviously quite interesting is the fact that this kind of keeping up with the Joneses type of lifestyle, type of marketing attempt to get others involved into wellness actually creates more stress and anguish, I suppose, for people who are unable to afford these certain healthy lifestyles and wellness rituals. A lot of these health and wellness products are often marketed to us as a fix-all. It will fix every single problem, and therefore how can't you buy it? It will magically make you have more muscles, it will make you fitter, it will make you lose more weight. it will make your skin glow, it will make you just like absolutely amazing, a superhuman. And so in this way, self-care then becomes stress and fosters new insecurities. The next level to the commodification of wellness is that there are so many products, so many retreats, so many just things that a lot of them don't even work. The funny thing about this wellness hierarchy and elitism is that a lot of these things actually are just a fad and have no real effect. We are constantly bombarded with detox, cleanse, superfoods, all of these health and wellness buzzwords, and we don't even really know too much about what they mean. I mean, for me personally, I don't really know what these words exactly do or mean, or they're just labelled on everything. I mean, if we look at an example, it's become a running joke about how Love Island stars and the Kardashians promote healthy detox teas, which are allegedly just glorified laxatives. We also, I'm sure, remember the Goop controversy, and also just the many lines of 10-step skincare brands from all of these influencers and celebrities that maybe sometimes have just not really done anything, have not had the best products inside of them, and have actually maybe sometimes made things worse. I think this is a big thing within the wellness industry. They know that we, the average person, don't have the time to go and spend to learn all about what these various things mean, what they do, what the benefits actually are. Not all of us are scientists, and again, we don't have the time. We have busy lives with our families, our friends, everything, that we don't have the time to go and research what detox actually means, or is a cleanse a real thing, and what is a superfood. So we therefore say, okay, well, this seems like it would be good because they're saying that it does this and that, and so therefore I'm going to buy it. Or I have this problem and this celebrity has told me that this works for them, so yeah, it's going to work for me too. So obviously we wouldn't really be able to talk about the commodification of wellness in today's day and age without talking about social media and social media's impact, and I have already kind of touched upon celebrities and influencers and how their role is just so huge in this. A lot of these wellness brands are associated or even made by celebrities and influencers and marketing companies who then add this extra level of this kind of idealism. You know, if you buy this, then this is personally what this person uses and they have gorgeous skin or they have a gorgeous body, and so you want to buy that product so you can be like them. When I think about wellness as it is today, I think about affluence, I think about money, I think about that celebrity lifestyle, about that glowing skin, about having the gorgeous hair and the super toned body, and therefore idealism. There is, though, of course, an issue when it comes to the constant exposure online of these wellness techniques, ideas and products to buy. One of the main things is that it puts us into the cycle of consumerism and comparison, and we are just going to keep going round and round and round. Another thing is that we know that celebrities are not always honest about procedures and different things that they have had to make them look the way that they do. And so when they bring up their skincare line or their hair care, or that they did this particular exercise routine that they're now kind of gonna sell to you and say, this is how I became, this is how I look, when actually they may have had these various procedures and are just not being honest about it, then that is so incredibly unfair. And we know that it happens, and we know that a lot of these pictures are airbrushed and photoshopped, yet we still fall for it each time. I think that absolutely anyone should be able to do whatever they want to do or not do to their bodies, but blatantly being dishonest and trying to sell a product to people who think that they're going to look a certain way like you if they have it, but you know they won't because you've had all these various procedures, it's just not fair. So now let's have a look at the future of wellness. So although wellness as we now know it is expected to skyrocket even more than it has done, we can get to the truth of wellness, and we can get to what our bodies actually want and need. Of course, each body is different, and what might work for you probably won't work for someone else, because again, we are all different and our bodies need various things based on a variety of stuff: our genetics, where we live, our lifestyles. And we certainly don't have to spend our hard-earned money on products that have just various buzzwords and may actually not do anything at all. Each time that you're thinking about buying a wellness product and you're just not sure about it, ask yourself, do I actually need this, or is it just clever marketing? And also, is this product actually safe and legit? Also, it's very important to remember that if you do have a serious problem that you're concerned about, always go to your GP or a medical professional. Do not just leave it to social media and the things that various influencers are promoting. But otherwise, the best wellness that I have found to be is just going into nature, going for a walk, spending time with my friends and my family, laughing, reading, just doing something that is for me and that is fun. I think that personally that is kind of true self-care, the self-care that is actually free most of the time. Just remember that wellness is not about perfection, but it is about balance. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that has been helpful for you and interesting perhaps, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!